Welcome back to Two Daddies Judging Baddies.
Judging baddies.
Where we read internet stories, then we judge people.
Two daddies, judging baddies.
This weekend we did the 48-hour film festival. If you want to know what happened there, kind of to get this podcast along and then us into stories, you could check that out on the latest episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama.
Hate.
Also, too, I believe with this episode, the podcast Books My Wife Likes, where I read books that my wife likes and then I explain them to Dylan and Russell. You guys will be also we introduced Russell on the previous episode on the newest episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama. So if you want to check that one out too, that one's going to be fun. The first book is A Court of Thorn and Roses. So it is definitely one of the books of all time.
Is it?
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So for our stories today, shout out to Crystal with the blue hair
For programming these ones and helping us find the juiciest of the juicy.
She does get juicy stories, though. She gets real good stories. So our first one says, am I the asshole for accidentally breaking up my manager's affair?
Breaking up on an affair doesn't seem like an asshole thing to do.
Right. I think that is justice.
The right thing
Yeah.
to do.
Batman would be like, yeah. No, actually, Batman wouldn't give a fuck.
No, it's actually, I think they misdid it. It's am I the hero?
Yeah, there you go. Instead of am I the asshole? So I, 27 female, am an English teacher in Japan. I work at a company that sends me all over the prefecture to teach. Don't like words that I don't know.
Prefecture?
Prefecture? Yeah. Don't like words that I don't know. Now I'm angry. My furthest class is 40 minutes away. It's mainly women in their 40s and 50s. I alternate the class with my manager, 41 male. Let's call him Dave. Dave's married to a Japanese woman and has a toddler. A few weeks back, I was teaching our shared class. The students wanted to ask me questions during the warm-up. They asked if I had a husband and questioned about my family back home. One of them, we'll call her Mika, 43 female, suddenly asked Dave if he had a girlfriend, and I said he's married with a child. She looked shocked, as did the others, and they pushed me again to confirm, so I did. I hadn't thought anything of it until last week when Dave called me in his office. He was visibly upset. He asked if I told the students about his family, and I said, yeah. He was super angry and told me to never talk about his family again with the students. I was a bit confused, but apologized and said okay.
He's just a private man. He just doesn't want all his details out there in the world.
Right. He's Dylan over here. He's just like, I want to be very in my own space. And I'm like, dog, you got a podcast. And a lot of people watch this podcast. So
That's why I keep my life private.
he keeps his life private. Me, I say my first and last name because there's like 15 people in my name that's famous, way more famous than I'll ever be. And I have the most generic name. So you could have my city, I'll use zip code, everything, and still would not find me. You'd be like, all right, well, it's between 11, Michael writes.
Well, just drop your socials so then everybody can really hone in.
This week, Mika wasn't in class, and I noticed she wasn't in the attendance roll. I asked the others, and they said she quit the class. It all made sense now. When I left the class, Mika was waiting for me. She asked me if I had. So what's funny is me and my son's watching Attack on Titan, and what's that girl's name? Russell from Attack on Titan. Not Aaron. Aaron Yeager's like the girl.
Aaron Mikasa.
No, it's Mikasa. There you go. It's Mikasa. So that's all I'm thinking about when I see Mika. Mikasa.
All I can think of is Blippy and Mika. But she's Meeka.
We never watched any Blippy. The only Blippy I've seen is where he takes that huge shit on that other guy. That happened.
My daughter randomly found Blippy on like YouTube Kids, and then it just was an addiction from there on out.
Yeah, the only Blippy I've ever seen. I have not seen a singular video. I don't know what it is about the cut of his jib. But my kids ain't fucking with it. So the only video I have ever seen of Blippy is when he took when they're like, he pooped on another guy. I thought it was like a funny thing. It's a weird thing. And he's like bent over this toilet and it all comes out at once like a shotgun blast. And I go look it up.
I've never seen that one.
Hey Siri, look up Blippy shitting on another man. Hey Google, look up Blippy shitting on another man. Alexa, look up Blippy shitting on another man. There you go. You guys are welcome. She asked me if I was telling the truth about Dave or if I was confused. I said nothing, but pulled out my phone and showed her his Facebook photos of him and his family, which I made sure to screenshot. I went to the head office this morning to teach, and Dave came into my classroom. After class, he was very angry. He closed the door and loomed over me saying, "I told you not to talk about my family with the students." I asked what he meant, and he asked, "What did I say to Mika?" I said, I didn't tell her anything, and that she technically wasn't a student anymore, so I didn't see any issue. I then said he seemed awfully concerned about me telling the students about his family, and that perhaps the owner of the school would like to know why the students were quitting the class. He stormed out. I'm quietly hoping this is the end of it, but something tells me there are other students who think he's single. Uh-oh.
So he's just been using this as a hunting ground.
This is how he finds women. This is his library membership.
Is that a good place to find women?
I guess. I don't know. I think it's a joke off The Office, and then they go skating, which is, I mean, that's a solid one because you got a bunch of single moms taking their kids skating and stuff like that. Fellas, if you want to. I think they also go to the strip club on a Tuesday at like noon, which is, it's a cast. It's a cast of people. So we got comments. Commenter 1. And I love this. Commenter 1, comment 2, comment 3. Like, just do it like that. I don't need to know their screen names. Not the asshole, but secure your bases quickly. Reach out to company HR and let them know that your manager is pressuring you. Don't let him spin, in quotations, this to your disadvantage. The situation is actually harmless for you. You spoke in your class during warm-up about family and home. That is a very legit language class topic. His marriage and his family status are public knowledge. You didn't share any details about their relationship or private details, I assume. So the fault is with your manager and the principal. Oh, and the principal for him is fuck around and find out. Comment 2.
I don't think you get to like be like, oh, don't tell anybody about like when you're cheating on your spouse. Like you don't get to remain anonymous. Like that is a public knowledge. So you don't get to just be like, no, don't tell them that I'm married with a kid. That's right. private information. You're cheating.
I'm ready for the wife to find out. Comment 2 says, not the asshole. And I think, in fact, yes, the owner of the school would like to know. Think of it as a CYA now that you are on Dave's bad side. What is a CYA?
Cover your ass.
Ah, okay. Comment 3, tell the owner it doesn't matter if adultery by men is seen as culturally permissible. It's bad for business. They will lose students and get a bad reputation, which will lower new admissions. It doesn't matter the reason for the owner's motivation. He will stop it. That is one thing, too, is I see a lot of Facebook posts, and it'll be like, this girl cheated. And they're like, oh, what a whore, burn her. Put her to the stake and burn her. And then a guy will do it and be like, men have needs. She probably wasn't putting out and stuff like. I'm like, that's a crazy, fucking women just have it shitty. Because there's no guys that are in the comment section like, well, maybe the man wasn't putting out or anything like that, you know?
Maybe she isn't getting enough affection at home.
Yeah.
Well, I think the funny thing is maybe Dave is actually getting the students there because he's just such a Casanova and just puts it down, and they're like, this is where you can get some good D from.
Right. Well, he's in Japan and he's working those long hours. And comment 4, you are not the asshole, but for people saying go to HR and all, this is Japan, and what people think is normal and all is a lot different than in the States or anywhere else. Like, I would not be shocked at all to learn that OP would be told not to say anything anymore and to just keep quiet so it would not hurt the school image. Also, cheating is seen differently in Japan. You can look it up and how it's viewed. Not saying that all people feel like that, but I heard enough stories in Japan of spouses not being kind if you tell them. But OP, do what you think is right. I think you handled it amazingly. But personally, I would not get involved. We have update. Oh, sorry.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, you figure cheating is cheating, and people, but like a whole culture that's just like, yeah, well, it's permissible. The husband did it.
Japan's suicide rate is up there, so I don't think that is a thing. I don't think, they come home and their spouse is cheating and they're just like, wow, it's viewed differently here. Update 0.5. Thanks for all the comments. I got a Facebook message request from Mika and I accepted it. She sent me screenshots of texts between her and Dave. Let's just say they were spicy.
Let's read them.
I think she's heartbroken and I feel sorry she got duped by him. He's so trash. Today we had a monthly staff meeting. The owners talked about a new contract they won and the staffing. At the end, Dave got up, gave a speech about keeping teachers' personal information confidential for safety reasons. I glared at him while he spoke. Why did he bring that up? We don't have an HR department because we're a small company. The owners are a Canadian man and his Japanese wife. I'm still torn about whether or not to speak with the owners. I'm worried that it'll be easier to get rid of me versus Dave.
That's how the Canadian man got his Japanese wife, though, was from this class.
Yeah.
Because Dave's got a Japanese wife, too.
He used to have a Canadian wife, but he started working in Japan and he was like, look. All right, so this is our first real update. I had a very interesting conversation with another teacher. Let's call him Jim. After Dave's teacher privacy speech at the staff meeting on Monday. Jim is a 36-year-old American male. He had a wife here who's currently pregnant. He has a wife here who's currently pregnant. He said that he helped Dave host a Christmas party for students at another center back in December. It's a center where I haven't taught. Jim, during the party, some of the students were asking how his wife was doing with the pregnancy. One made a comment like, "You'll be the first Gaijin foreign teacher to be a father at the school," and Jim started to say something about Dave, and Dave quickly cut him off and changed the subject. Jim thought it was awkward, but he didn't think anything of it. I told Jim about what happened with Dave and Mika. He told me I have to bring this to the owners. Although he doesn't have proof of Dave doing the same thing at the other school, he said it seems sus. I made an appointment to see both managers on Friday afternoon. I've decided to show them the screenshots that Mika sent. Wish me luck. I'm so nervous. Anything?
Nope.
I wonder if it's going to come out there was more students.
There's got to be.
Right.
He doesn't get away with it once and then just move on.
I don't know. I think that is the good thing, though, too, is that, I mean, there are repercussions for, even if in Japan they're like, nah, we don't care. I mean, the wife is probably going to care. Update 2. I had my meeting today with the owners. The Canadian owner, Brian, came to the meeting. His wife, Naomi, couldn't make it. I was honestly so nervous because I really like this job and I didn't want to jeopardize it, but was concerned that Dave wouldn't let it go. There's a lot of travel involved, but I can study on the train between classes. I printed out the screenshots that Mika sent me of the spicy text exchange between her and Dave, so I had receipts. Say it like it's spelled. If receipt wants to get spelled or pronounced correctly, then just
lose the P.
Yeah, lose the fucking P. Yeah, receipt. Yeah, you don't. That silent P. Get out of here. All right, get out of here, pterodactyls. I also keep a record of dates and times where the events happened. When I sat down, I felt absolutely sick. Brian asked if I wanted water and looked very concerned. I started from the beginning and made sure to apologize for talking about another teacher's personal life in class and that it was an honest mistake. I told him about Mika sending me a message request on Messenger and the screenshots, which I produced from my bag. I told him Dave had cornered me in my classroom. Finally, I pulled out my employment contract and pointed to the clause that stated that it is strictly prohibited to have a relationship with students outside of class, and I said it was likely the same for Dave. At this point, my hands were shaking and I felt sweaty.
So wait, you can fuck your students, but it has to be in class.
Yeah, it has
to basically
be in class.
According to that.
Yeah, so Dave's just like, read that clause again, buddy.
I fucked her in this classroom.
Right.
So
on your desk, Brian. On your desk. Brian sat quietly for a minute, processing and looking very concerned. He said that it was an honest mistake on my part and that he was glad that I had the courage to come to him with the information because it looked bad from a business perspective for teachers to be dating students. He told me not to worry about Dave and that he was the one who was in the wrong by crossing a line with a student. He said he talked to Naomi about the situation and decided the best way to move forward. He also said my job was safe and not to worry about it over the weekend. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Dave now. I'll update next week when I find out. Update 2.5. Edit. I went for drinks with some other teachers last night. After a couple drinks, we were more relaxed, and one of them said that Dave had been trying to dig up dirt on me for the last week. He asked if I hung out with students outside of class or if I'd be late to class. I don't hang out with students outside of class because it's prohibited, so I'm safe. I didn't tell him about Dave and Mika because I'm sure it'll come out next week. Seriously, giving desperate vibes on his part. And then we have the update. The final update.
The final update.
Copyright strike. We're losing money. Ended up being out of the office last week because I was filling in for a sick teacher, but I'm in a group chat with some of my colleagues, so I was kept in the loop, and they said on Monday, Dave had been taken off the teaching schedule. There was an announcement on Friday that Dave was leaving the school. That was a week after my chat with the owner. I'm honestly shocked that it was so quick. I've just come out of a meeting with both of the owners. They said that Dave decided to quit. I copped a lecture on not talking about the teacher's personal stuff in class from the Japanese owner. The meeting ended on them thanking me again for coming forward. So a bit confusing meeting all in all. Yeah, it's just like, hey, any other personal stuff, don't fucking bring it up.
Yeah.
Good work, kid. Good work, kid. But seriously,
Stop.
Don't bring up somebody's personal shit. We will stab you with a katana.
But we're really proud that you came forward on this one.
Exactly. Yes. Good
But
job.
don't do it again.
But don't do it again. Yeah. You think you would be safe. You think you would be safe cheating on the old wifey, being, whole ocean away.
Well, I think his wife was there.
Oh, man. Looks like you got a good one because it says bro was a placeholder.
Oh, that bro placeholder position.
We don't have any. I've been noticing a lack of trigger warnings.
Yep.
Maybe it's balancing out now.
People aren't being as triggered lately.
Yeah, maybe they're not triggered anymore. Well, you got a good one too.
All right, so this one has main post and 3 updates. My girlfriend has gone MIA.
Missing in action. This was originally published on Relationship Advice
In 2021. So my girlfriend has gone MIA. We've been together coming up on 3 years. I, male 35, her, female 37. Nice, older lady. We met after she had moved back to our hometown about 4 years ago. Some background. She, her name is Mary, lived with a guy, let's say Bob, who is in his 40s, for over 10 years. They met at their workplace. She moved to his city for a job after college. He had 3 girls under 7 years old at the time. He went through a bad marriage, then the mom disappeared after the divorce. She meets this guy, they find time to date, and then she moves in with him. She's crazy in love. Then for 10 years or so, she was essentially the mom and wife without being official. Mary wanted to get married and have her own children, but Bob didn't want to rush into another marriage. Eventually, he just told her he never wants to get married again or to have any children. This, of course, crushed Mary. She felt she lost 10 years in which she could have had her own children even though she loved Bob's. They called her mom. Mary breaks it off, moves back to this side of the country to start over. We met one night at a get-together with mutual friends she had reconnected with. We started dating, then committed to each other. It's been almost 3 years. We have talked marriage and children. I have none. I'm a late bloomer. We moved in together a year ago next month. We had talked about getting married late next year. I have not proposed, but we have ring shopped.
Yeah, he has. He's wording a lot of this very weird.
Very weird.
But I love the late bloomer thing because, I'm 33 and I have a 13-year-old. I have a 9-year-old who's literally about to be 10 and a 5-year-old. And my daughter will be like, yeah, everybody's dad's so old. They're so old. And all my friends' dads are like in their, 50s and 60s and stuff.
Well, that is old. But
yeah, that is. I was like, that's pushing it. And they're normal. But anytime we go to an event, I hate it because it's just like I'm surrounded by people who have their shit together. Way more adults than I am.
you still got time. You still got time. You got 20 years to get your shit together.
Nah, I don't. Look, I like it though because they'll be talking about some shit, and then I can talk about culturally relevant stuff, and I just find it crazy too how all the older dads, they're all super into IPA, and like the first conversation they had, that's why I do all the Gen X jokes, is we'll go to a Halloween party and they'll be like, oh man, what kind of pumpkin IPA did you get? And he's like explaining it and all the stuff is in it, and I'm just like,
lame.
Yeah, lame. Just crack open the piss water, bro. We don't care about what's in it. We're just trying to get lit, overshare, and then go home and be like, fuck, did I really say that?
Yeah, I pretty much gave up drinking. The other day when you guys went to get a beer, I got a energy water instead.
Man, I remember too, because they had brought up politics and everything like that during the last election. And I have a lot of friends. I'm also like aware of what's going on in the zeitgeist and everything. Like fucking, I am, pretty culturally aware. And they were all talking about how Kamala was going to destroy Donald Trump. I was like, are y'all in the same? I don't think y'all exist in the same reality I do. I think y'all are like in y'all's bubbles. And then all your friends are talking about how, she's going to win and online and stuff like that. And I had a chance right there. I mean, I could have just been like, I'll bet money right now. I could have took them all. And it was like 15 adults. You know what I'm saying? $100 a piece. You walk out with a smooth $1,500.
Yeah.
Like, the world goes to shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you walk out with a smooth $1,500.
Well, that's what happened with 2016. I thought Hillary was going to win, but it was going to be a squeaker. And it still was a squeaker either which way it went. But I was like, she's going to win, hopefully, for society's sake. But then I also had the mindset that if he won, that he was going to all of a sudden be like a normal president. And he was just like drumming up his base, and he was just going to be, yeah. And I was
wrong.
Double wrong.
I think, and Russell gonna cut this out too for the social media edits. But I mean, I was working 12 hours, 7 days a week, so I wasn't as aware. But I'd be driving to work, man. I'd be like, not a goddamn Hillary sign on any of these roads.
Well, I didn't expect it anywhere around here. That's the big thing, though, is the masses of people tend to be more left leaning. And they're in cities and areas like that. And then you have like these swaths of just country where
it's rural, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they predominantly go more right wing.
I love when they show the maps too, and they'll be like, look, see, the whole state except for these 3 little dots. And it's like the population of those 3 little dots is more than all the red around it.
Yeah.
It's just very heavily populated cities.
Yeah.
But we digress and continue.
We do. All right. So Mary has kept in touch with the girls over the last few years. They gossip and ask Mary for advice. She has not been in contact with Bob in any regular way, just birthday wishes. Bob has not dated seriously since Mary left. This weekend, the oldest daughter is getting married. She asked Mary to come help her with the last-minute preparations and such. The wedding planning is set, but the daughter wanted her, Mary, to be there as the mother of the bride. Nothing to do with the ceremony, but just be there for her. Mary asked what I thought. I knew she wanted to be there, so I told her I had no objections. I had to work during the week, so I could not go. Mary has been there since Monday night. She contacted me when she landed, and that night before bed. Then, Tuesday morning, she sent me good morning. Since then, nothing. I've texted and called, no response. The texts were read.
Poor Dylan over here. Like, you got to read over this guy's fucking just.
They're going to roast me in the comments.
I assume it's through like very teary eyes that he's like typing this out.
Finally, I get a text this morning. She mentions how crazy busy she has been. No mention of why she hasn't responded. She reconnected with old friends and, of course, Bob. There has been a lunch and dinner of some sort each day. Friday night is the rehearsal dinner. Ceremony and reception are on Saturday. Flight home is on Sunday afternoon. I asked if she wanted me to fly out late Friday to be there with her. She said no. She thought dragging me into her old life would not be fair to me.
She's getting dick down, dog.
Yeah. I asked her to text me before bed and in the morning as we did Monday night, Tuesday morning. She said okay. Then for some reason, I asked how her hotel room was. I got no answer. She ain't been staying in a hotel.
Hell no. She's been staying in the Bob Hotel.
Yeah. Or no, Bob's been staying in her hotel.
Yeah, there you go. Bob's like, turn that damn phone off.
Finally, about an hour later, I got a phone call from her. She wanted me to know that she canceled the hotel and is staying at Bob's house. They have an extra room since the bride moved out.
At this point, you could just be like, all right, relationship's over.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cut it off.
Yep.
They just put the 2 remaining daughters back into one room. I asked how long was this planned. She said the daughters mentioned it as a possibility when everything was being planned. They asked their dad, and he had no problem with it. Yeah, because he gets some old pussy that he used to get. Like, he knows for a fact she's
like, no, yeah, I ain't got to get a hotel. You ain't got to. We ain't got to do all that.
She canceled her hotel last weekend but never mentioned it to me because she did not want to make a big deal of it. She just wanted to be with her girls. I told her that she is being sketchy. She started crying at this point. I apologized for the name calling and told her we can talk about it later. I don't want to ruin her wedding plans, but I'm very hurt, not to mention suspicious. Do I have this right? Have I let my imagination run wild? Edit number 1, Mary just texted me. She wants me at the wedding. I have to find a flight out on Friday night. Edit number 2, after seeing some comments, I have decided not to go to the wedding.
That's the best. After seeing some comments, I decided not to go.
I texted her I was not coming and that I will decide when she gets home whether we have a relationship still. All right, so relevant comments. Comment number 1, a lot of people are saying she's shacking up with her ex, but isn't she there to be with her, in quotations, almost daughters? It's possible that nothing went on, although it's not at all okay that she wasn't clear with her communication and honesty on her part. Sounds like this is something you guys really need to have a good conversation about before some online strangers tell you your relationship is over and advise you to break up. But I have no experience in this, so what do I know?
So shut your mouth, bitch. Like what? No, she canceled her hotel knowing full well she was going to stay at Bob's and did not have that conversation, which obviously means she was hiding something from him, which obviously means that you can end the relationship. You know nothing because you've never had a girlfriend, so shut up. Or a boyfriend.
That's the whole thing is communication. Had she not hit it and said, hey, this is what, then you can have the conversation about how comfortable you are with that.
Right.
With her excluding you from that conversation, she is hiding something, so she's being sketchy, so she's not being trustworthy. So technically, yes, you can end that relationship on that. That's your choice.
With a clear conscience.
That's your choice, but you don't have to like fucking just be like, oh, most likely she's not sleeping. Like she was hiding it.
We do have to stop reading what Crystal put down, though, because I think that's just for us, and we're kind of ruining it for the people because it's like, oh, where does this story go?
Yeah. All right, so comment number 2. Stopped reading after first 2 paragraphs. 1, you should have been invited. 2, why is she staying in her ex's house? 3 years and she doesn't respect you enough to keep communication up while staying at her ex's. You deserve better, sir.
There, bam.
I think this is comment number 3 or, yeah, 3. Yes, you have the right. Your girl stayed at her ex's house, barely communicated with you, and you have no clue about what she has really been doing. She won't be honest if she did. That's so sketchy, and you should have a serious talk about this with her. If she's crying already, she may just be guilty of doing worse. Be careful and look out for yourself. Use your head and leave her if you suspect anything.
If you call someone who hasn't been doing anything sketchy, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, why is it sketchy? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these girls look at me like a mom. If she immediately breaks down and start crying, that's because she just got done. She just got off. You know what I'm saying? She called you.
All right. My girlfriend got back yesterday afternoon. I picked her up at the airport. Once we got home, we ordered some takeout. I could not wait for dinner to be over. I think she dragged it out as long as she could. She was fidgety, in constant motion, so she did not sit down. First, it was the stuff from dinner. Had to unpack, wanted to get laundry started. I finally took hold of her hands and sat her down. She immediately started crying.
Raggy.
I had not even asked her anything. She was blubbering on about how bad she felt about how she mistreated me. I let her go until she calmed down. I started out by asking her how the girls were doing. How was the wedding? What were some?
No, read that word exactly how it is.
Hamawaz.
How was the wedding?
I started out by asking her how the girls were doing. How was the wedding? What were some of the things she did in the preparations? Did she do anything with the girls that were fun? Did you suck Bob's dick?
Yeah, did you suck? Yeah. How was the wedding? Did y'all have a fun lunch or anything? How was the girls? Did you suck Bob's dick?
This seemed to calm her down and she relaxed. Then I asked why she disappeared and did not answer my texts. She says they were busy from the time she landed. She was out for meals and visiting old friends. I asked if the ex was with her during this time. He was. So I asked if it felt no time passed since she was home. She said it did. We went along this vein of questions for a bit. I asked her if she kissed her ex when she arrived. She said they hugged and she kissed his cheek. She said she kissed her friends when they met up. I asked if she held the ex's hand as they went to different places. She had. What? Why? Like, if you're like, what? Like, I can understand her sleeping with homeboy, but like holding hands while you're out, like, that's just. What? I then asked what day did she sleep with him. She started crying, so I stayed silent. She asked me why I would ask her that question. I told her she went missing for 2 days, and when we did talk, I did not feel she was missing me. I remained quiet. She thought on this and started crying again. She admitted that they slept together each night except the first. After we made plans for me to fly out Friday, she felt guilty. Then when I told her I was not coming, she was mad and slept with him for the rest of the week. This is your fault.
His fault. Okay. Yeah. Look, let's go over to Bob's house and make sure he looked good for that wedding. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Look, he knows you. If your spouse cheats on you with someone that doesn't know that you are married, I can put a pass by that. If y'all have talked about me, I gotta beat your ass, bud. Like I got to.
You gonna fly out there to do it?
Fuck yeah.
Spend the money to go ahead and fly.
Yeah. Look, and here's the thing too, because people be like, well, what if he's big? What if he's this? What if he's that? A tire iron, dog.
Yeah.
Tire iron
Equalizer.
hurts. Yeah, it hurts. Trucks on a skateboard. There's. I guarantee you could find something to equal up that fight. And then if all else fails, bite him on the dick.
That's an option.
Like if you're getting drugged.
Do you bite it while she's like got him inside her? Like
no, that's weird.
In between the two.
That's a different kind of situationship that they would have going on there.
What if they just don't stop when you get there?
That'd be rough, dude. That'd be rough.
Could you get the fuck out of here, bud?
Right.
I'm trying to fuck your girlfriend right now.
Right, yeah. I think at that point, when you tell the jury that, they're like, yeah, I'd have shot her too. Okay. All right, I agree.
The magic bullet. How'd it go through her neck and through his face and all at once?
I wonder how they would handle that if a woman walked in and her husband was cheating and she shot them. Does she still get crime of passion?
Yeah, 100%.
I hope so. Because this is like, the fucking district attorney's like, a man has needs. And it's like, what? Shut the how's this a defense? Like, or how's this? I don't know what you call it. How's this evidence that I should go to a man has needs? And then you see a couple men on there like, what?
He does.
A couple women on there going, it's like, nah, yo, Tommy bitches.
All right, so this is the last sentence in this update. This is too new.
Wait 1 second, because in that scenario, could you imagine them picking out the jury? Because they pick out the people that they think is going to help their case the most. And then the district attorney's just like, he sees a girl with like her septum pierced. He's like, nope, don't want her. He sees a girl with like some tattoos. Like, nope, don't want her. He sees a girl like dressed like Little House on the Prairie, little moo on or something like that. He's like,
one.
That's the one. How do you feel about if your husband, I don't question him. I let him do what he wants.
He's the man of the house.
He has needs.
He's the...
Who would want to marry somebody like that? A bunch of virgins, like you could tell the people on Facebook who are virgins, who are just like, that. I want a girl who is subservient. And I'm like, fuck that shit. I want a girl that throws vases at me and shit. Like, I want a girl that if I fuck up, I want her, throwing some fucking bows at me. Throwing a couple elbows. Where is this whole... It's just like, it's like the whole playing a video game on God mode, and there's nothing, there's just nothing to it. You just do the things and there's nothing preventing you from doing the things. Like in a good relationship, it's just, that's the goodness about a relationship.
Maybe neither person is violent and throws vases at people.
I'm not saying all that, but I'm saying there is like that playfulness back and forth. There is like love that you can find in arguments too, like bickering and shit like that. Like I don't know.
Well, yeah, you want somebody who is going to be strong enough to stand up for themselves,
right?
Not just be walked all over.
Right. I want somebody that has fucking fire in them. I'm not saying to use as violence. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like if it happened, you know what I'm saying? I used to agitate my wife so hard she'd beat me with a broomstick.
Well, and then she stabbed you with a nail file and.
Right. I couldn't imagine just sitting there and just be like, bloop, bloop, bloop. And she's like, fuck, can you stop? And I just get close. Bloop, bloop. Then I start like tickling her neck or something like that. And she's just like, well, he is the man, so I don't know. No, I want her to then punch me in the goddamn nose. That's the fun of a relationship, though.
I don't harass my wife like that, but.
Yeah. Teach their own.
Yeah. You guys have a different relationship.
Teach their own. She sent me a video of like me when I'm overstimulated, and it was like my husband is like this lizard and he's doing like a weird dance and shit like that. And I was like, that is me.
My wife sent me a meme of the things I'm doing when my wife asks for a 6-digit code, and it's like a guy down in like
just shoveling shit into a fucking pot, just covered in dirt and stuff. That is so true though.
Yeah. All right, so this is too new last night, but I told her we need to break up. She is talking to family right now to arrange a place. She is talking to family right now to arrange a place to stay. So sometime this week, she will be moving out. And this has 2 more updates.
Mm-hmm.
All right, comment number 1. I'm so sorry. It sounds as if you handled a terrible situation really well. Her actions are not a reflection on you. They are a reflection on her. Well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. I cannot upvote this hard enough. That is something that's very easy to lose sight of in this situation. Her actions are not a reflection on you. They are a reflection on her. All right, comment number 2. Ugh, this sub can be so depressing. Like, I wish one of these situations would go right just one time, but it feels like it's always the worst. I'm sorry for you, sir, and hope you can get a clean break from her and move on.
That's why we're here, man. Like, I'm in a healthy relationship. I don't want to read about healthy relationships.
Oh, it was a happy. But there are some really good twist ones where there's a happy ending and it's a good one. But yeah, it needs to go really sideways to then make the good part good.
I just, like I said, I don't want to get on here and read about a husband who's like very playful and, you know, reads books his wife likes so they can like talk and connect on that. So I don't want to do that. I get that at home.
Yeah, and then they make a podcast about it.
Yeah. But that was her idea though too. So she was like, you should do a podcast on it. And at first I didn't know how to do it. And I was like, oh dude, me explaining to my friends a book that my wife likes. Cause it's like a lot of fantasy and stuff like that. Guys would call it like smut books. Cause that's the idea Dylan had when I told him I was reading this book.
Well, that's what you've always said your wife reads is like smut books.
Well, it's just a joke because one time, like, I went into the kitchen while she had it on, and then he was like, he sheathed his penis inside of her, and I was like, should we be watching that or should we be listening to that while
the kids are running around?
The kids are running around, and she was like, they don't go into depth, and I was like, all right, that sounds pretty in depth to me. Once
sheathing a penis inside of her.
But yeah, the book that I read, it was like two little things on it. But I think that's the fun part about explaining it to my friends because there is like the misconceptions of the books that women read.
Well, and then there
are some
yes.
where they do focus more on like the sexual parts, but like this one was majority fantasy, a little bit of that.
All right, so comment number 3. I swear, some Redditors are clairvoyant. I'm sorry this happened, OP. Please be careful. I beg of you. Do not have sex with this woman ever again unless you want to be paying child support for the next 18 years. Stay strong and be good to yourself. Comment number 4. So she was already sleeping with him multiple times, then got mad at you and used it as an excuse to continue sleeping with him. That's got to sting. I think you did the right thing in ending the relationship. I'm sorry.
Dog does have his shit together though.
Yeah. I mean, that's solid to just be like, out, gone.
Deuces.
I think it would have been funnier though if he was like, oh, how's the wedding? What did you do with the girls? How did Bob's dick taste this time?
Right, yeah. Was it good? Was it great?
All right, so update 2 after 2 weeks. This is 10 days from the last post. See my profile for previous post. So, I had broke up with my girlfriend after she revealed that she slept with her ex several times while visiting for a wedding. She came over last night to get her remaining things with her father. While he was loading her stuff, which I had boxed up, we talked. She had been communicating with her girls throughout the time that we were together. I knew this. She was a mother figure to them. I get it. She did not talk to the ex unless it was a quick wave as he walked past the FaceTime call. Since the beginning of the year...
that seems worse. See him walk by and say, hey. Oh, he's gone. Because he does not want her. Bob doesn't want her. Like, Bob has no interest in a life with her. And
well, he just didn't want to get married or have more kids. But
right. Bob has no interest in her. And if he had an interest in her, he wouldn't just let her, you know what I'm saying?
Well, he's the guy that decides how the world works. And so he's not going to compromise.
He's not yet compromising, yeah. I guess.
I wouldn't say that means that he has no interest in her, but it's one
if
of
it makes you feel better, I haven't fucked him again.
She didn't talk to him unless it was a quick wave as he walked past the FaceTime call. Since the beginning of the year, communication picked up due to the wedding plans. The ex became a bit more involved as the plans needed to go by him. Eventually, that led to private calls between them. She missed her family. As the time neared where she would be visiting, the calls increased to the girls and the private chats to the ex. He must have started saying all of the right things. Once she landed, she stepped right back into 4 years ago as being a family. Once they slept together, he promised her they would get married and get pregnant. Yep, so he does have interest in her. That's all she needed to hear. She would tell me when she got home. When I told her I was flying out, that turned the plans upside down. So, this weekend, she is moving back to them. She has quit her job here. She has approached her old job there, but nothing is definite. There are plenty of jobs waiting. I have nothing. Isn't that the way it is with cheaters? They go on to live their lives, leaving devastation in their wake. Edit. Everyone says she will be back. I won't take her back. I think she was settling with me. The ex would not marry and wanted no kids. He now says they can get pregnant and marry. That is why she left. She loves those girls as her own. I'm going to skip the comments this time.
All right.
We are on to the final update after 5 weeks. 3 weeks from that last post. All right. Thank you all for the kind words and support. I last updated a few weeks ago after my ex left. Her dad, I ran into at a store, says she has settled back in with her family. She had tried to contact me, but I have blocked her on everything. So her dad was just passing on one last apology. I've been working on myself, gym, reading, work, friends. I know it just takes time. I really didn't need this last gut punch though. Anyways, thank you again. Yeah, I think the biggest thing with guys, and he's doing it the right way, is like most guys go into like, not necessarily with the cheating thing, but when they want a girl back, like they go into this whole like stalkery, weird vibes, and he's doing the right thing.
Well, usually it's the cheaters that do that.
Yeah, that try to get back. But like guys always go into that weird world where they're like, oh, I just got to show her more attention. And then they like absolutely barrage her with attention. And then it ends up being like terrible for them.
I love the auto moderation because the post that got sent here got deleted. So
yeah. Thank goodness our tech guy got that set up for us.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Our tech guy is solid. I wouldn't say we need to give him a raise though.
We pay him enough.
Yeah. Our tech guy's dealing for anybody who doesn't get that. For anybody who doesn't get that little jokey joke. So I, female 18, made out with a friend of my parents, male 44, and now I don't know what to do. This was posted in our age gap, but...
Oh, that's a Reddit?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck. God bless America. But they shared it to our relationship advice. It's grammatically edited by Crystal with the blue hair. Editor's note, this was a beast to edit since it was written in teen. There we go. All right.
She intentionally left some teen in there to show age and comprehension level.
Right.
But damn, this was rough, she says.
On Thursday, me and my parents, sister and her husband, drove to a village where my dad grew up and where my family lives. We planned on staying until Sunday, since every year around this time there is a fair, which is kind of a big event, and we always go there. Oh, and also to celebrate my birthday properly. On Thursday and Friday, nothing really happened. The fair was on Saturday, so on Thursday and Friday, I just hang out with my parents, uncle, aunt, etc., and drink White Claw. Also around Friday, I realized that I might get to see a friend of my parents on Saturday at the fair. I always thought he was attractive, and it was all so exciting to see him. Also, I get to see him like once a year, and we never talked normally before this. He would always just talk to my parents and others, so no actual interaction. I'm not reading this in that voice. That's too hard.
You're a child. You are a child.
Right.
You are a child. Like,
yeah, he should be talking to the parents.
yes, you are a child.
And I hate how it's like, because people will be like, well, she came on. That does not fucking matter. That is a 44-year-old man. Why is he hitting on an 18-year-old?
Why is he accepting her hitting on him? Like,
Right.
it doesn't make it acceptable.
Right. If I'm dad, he ain't my friend no more. On Saturday, everyone was having fun on the fair, riding roller coasters, etc. But I was pissed off because I didn't see him anywhere. Let's call him Mitch from now on. Then I realized it doesn't matter because I'll definitely see him in the evening night. If I go to this one pub every year, there's a party there because of the fair or something. I never went there before, and my parents were too tired to come with me, so they told me to go with my aunt and uncle. We arrived at 8 p.m. When we get there, I finally see Mitch, and he immediately comes up to my uncle, and they start chatting with other people too. For the entire time, I'm just standing there awkwardly while occasionally glancing at him. Then my aunt and uncle just disappear somewhere and leave me there with Mitch and some other man I know. Mitch turns to me and asks if I'm all right and tells me I should smile more. That's already like with the, you need to smile more. Like, there you go. This is why Mitch is kissing a 18-year-old girl. LOL. Note made by Crystal. I have to ignore the intrusive thoughts when men tell me to smile more. Right. Stab him in the neck. Stab him in the neck. I have awful case of resting sad face or whatever you call it. I look depressed, even though I'm happy. After basically our first interaction, we started chatting some more, and then we took shots together, just the two of us. Some time passed, and my uncle and aunt still weren't there, and Mitch was talking to this other guy about how he would go dance, but how he can't dance unless it's a slow dance. Because he's old as shit. That's why he can't dance.
His hips are bad.
Yeah. All the arthritis is set in. Like, so I was like, wait, this is it. And I turned to him and said something like, wow, I have no idea how to slow dance. And it worked. Like it's a fucking lonely 44-year-old man. And it worked. Like 5 minutes later, they played a slow song and we slow danced together. Fucking all these slows is getting to me. Then again, 2 more times. I don't even remember the exact timeline anymore, but after that, we probably took shots again, and at this point, I kept grabbing his hand and clinging on to him, and he let me. Then we left the pub and continued to just talk and got a bit high. Around 1 a.m., he asked me if I want to go home and that we can walk together since he lives right across from my aunt. I said yes. While walking, he was basically holding me by my waist the whole time, then holding my hands, etc. Halfway through our walk, he started talking about how weird this is and how he feels like an awful creep, but he didn't stop holding my hand. Actually, like 2 minutes after this, he started kissing me, like straight up, and how making out in the middle, Jesus Christ, like straight up making out in the middle of the road. That's called assault. After that, he asked me something like, what do you even want? And I just shrugged because honestly, I don't know what I was doing. I was still so shocked. Well, he just ended up walking me to my aunt's house and we kissed. This morning, we left the village early to drive back home, so I didn't even get to say goodbye. We live like 2.5 hours apart with car, but after the kissing, I did get his number. That's kind of the whole story. I don't know what I should do at all. I was so happy, but today I started kind of feeling weird about it. I want to text him, but also I'm scared since he is a close family friend. That's called grooming. Mm-hmm. Today we get back home. My mom was talking about how he's such a great friend, etc. I don't really know what I'm even asking for. I just need advice in general on how to approach this, I guess. Thanks to anyone who read this whole bullshit. Then we have comments. All comments were about him being a predator, which facts. Fuck, I love Crystal. However, I think it's important to note that she was searching for him. She was setting up the events in her favor because she had a crush on him. He should have shut down all advancements, inebriated or not. He knew what he was doing when he said he felt like a creep. Absolutely agree. The comments point all blame to Mitch when it should have been shared blame. Neither person is the victim in this situation, and both need to take accountability. She needs to learn from this and discern her emotions and pull towards older men. Pull away from older men, I guess that's what that was meant to say. Yeah, it's like the family friend thing. He even acknowledged that he was like, if he was like real drunk and the next day he was like, oh fuck, I could be like, benefit of the doubt. But when you're like, I feel like such a creep, it's because you're a creep, bro. That's your friends. You've watched her grow up.
Yeah, there's no excuse for it.
No excuse for it. No excuse for it. But hopefully that, they gave her some common sense.
Well, the big thing is like girls at that age, like they don't realize, a lot of them don't realize that it takes nothing to make a man like be interested in you.
Right.
It's pretty much you show interest and he's interested. If he's a single guy that has no obligations, it's very easy. So it's not like this big prize. It's not, you didn't seduce this man that was hard to seduce. Like it was easy. A, he's a creep, and then B, he's a dude.
He's a 44-year-old lonely guy. Like,
yes. So you didn't like win anything. There was no prize that you won.
Wow, I seduced this for no. Congratulations. All right. I jumped in a lake and got wet. That's the same thing. Like that's the same exact thing.
And I think for a 18-year-old that's just coming of age, like they are still thinking that is something. No, you don't have to be some special 18-year-old. Like this guy would have been a creep with any 18-year-old that was mildly attractive. So you didn't win a prize.
If I'm sitting there talking to my boy and my friend's daughter was like, I don't know how to slow down, but bitch, ain't you got friends?
Yeah.
You got people I'm talking to a guy that's my age. Go talk to somebody.
There's a 20-year-old. Go dance with him.
Right over there, drinking all alone. I bet that dork would like some fucking friendship. God damn. Go slow dance with that guy.
Yeah.
Like there's no entertaining it.
Well, and there's like, you could be a great role model and be like, hey, you are an attractive young woman. There's plenty of eligible guys in your age range around here. Like, I'm not your guy.
Right.
Like, I think you're a beautiful young woman, but we don't go together. Like, that does not make sense.
Like there's so many layers to
You're
this.
my friend's daughter.
Right.
Like, you are a child still. Like, and nothing against you, but you got tons of living to do with those guys that are age appropriate over there. Yeah. Poor kid. Like, and I do think that she is somewhat to blame, but she's a kid. So like, she's really not like at fault.
I mean, you're making mistakes at 18 years old. At 44 years old, you should have your shit together. You should know absolute right from wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And him talking about how creepy he is shows that he was not very, like, if he's like fucking shit faced and he's like, I'll slow dance with you, girl.
Who are you?
Yeah. Fucking,
Do I even fucking know you?
but as soon as he's like, yeah, I feel like a creep for this, because you are.
Yeah.
You are.
That's the time that you back out.
I hope she just like brings it up to her parents just to test the water with how it is. And dad's like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, no.
That's going on a 2.5 hour road trip.
I don't think you should be dating anybody that's that old. I think you should look for people. But yeah, I'm not mad about this situation. But babe, you remember that fishing trip I was going to go on? And the mom's going to be like, yep, you got to go on that fishing trip. So
we'll see you in tomorrow.
Right. If you want me to go pack your fishing poles, your 12 gauge fishing pole, I will do that.
All right. So this one is, am I the asshole because I, 38 female, don't want to take my stepson, 9, on vacation?
Yep.
It's grammatically edited by Crystal.
What? Is this easy? Yep. That's all right.
So her grammatical edits are just putting them together. My husband, 39, and I have been married for 5 years.
Yep. So you've known this kid since he was 4, so.
We have 2 children of our own, both girls, aged 5 and 2. I also have a son, 10, from a previous marriage, but I was widowed. My husband's ex is barely involved in stepson's life at all. They got divorced when stepson was 2, and his ex wanted, quote, a fresh start, so my husband did the decent, selfless thing and had complete custody of their son, even though he'd wanted shared custody.
Yeah, I want my kid to have a mom. You want a fresh start? I mean, if I ever had to have that conversation, I'd be like, so you want to be let's word this like it is. You want to be a terrible person and abandon your child.
Yes.
It's not you want a fresh start. You don't have a kid and was like, oh, I want a fresh start from this. That does make you an awful human being.
Yeah, it's not a game console. You can't just like reset the game and start over again.
Oh, whoopsie days. This is not what I wanted. Sorry, guys.
All right. So I got a bonus at work and I really wanted to go on vacation with just my family just once.
Yep, you're the asshole. So I don't know how we word this any different.
We've been on family vacations all together lots of times, but just once I wanted to spend my money going on vacation where I'm not looking after someone else's kid. I want stepson to stay with his mom while we go on vacation. My husband sees my point of view and is okay with it. I don't think I'm being at all unreasonable.
Yeah, I think your husband's a bitch because you're talking about the reason you don't want to take stepson on vacation is because you'll be the sole watcher over him, which means that husband is not helping out in that department, which means y'all don't got really a relationship. Also, how you're not 5 years into this, you meet a 4-year-old boy with no mother and he's not part of the family. I just think you're a shitty person. I think you and husband are shitty and y'all are failing this 9-year-old boy. And I guarantee it's one of those situations where the dad views the 5 and 2-year-old more of family than the 9-year-old. So
maybe.
Yeah. Look, and if this kid ever sees this one day, all you can do is become way more successful and then never talk to him. That's all you do. If you got shitty family, that's the best way to handle. Dylan has taught me that. I used to have a little hate in my heart, but Dylan's like, just do your thing and then let them. Misery loves company, and if I don't give them my company, that's the best way to hit them in the dick. So
yeah, you don't even have to be that successful. You just be happy.
Just happy
without
happiness.
them. My mom found out what I was planning and says I'm being a complete asshole. These are the reasons she says I could be the asshole. My mom says that if stepson's mom isn't properly involved in his life, I should be even more involved in his life to compensate. I think this is a completely unfair expectation. No.
No, what? And you fucking shout out grandma. Grandma's solid. I guarantee you during this conversation, mama is looking at her daughter like, bitch, are you stupid? Like, who did I raise?
Well, that's the thing is if the mom was still involved, you trying to overcompensate and be a replacement for her is kind of a dick move. However, she is not involved, so he has no motherly figure, and you are neglecting him. So you are being an asshole simply with that, without the vacation or anything involved. You should look at the kid in your house. There's no other mother around. You fill that role.
She doesn't even recognize him as family. She said my family, not even this kid.
She also says that I'm being a hypocrite taking my son, but I think that's totally different because my son doesn't have another parent. I'm all he's got.
I assume her husband committed suicide.
Probably.
Yeah.
But like like her stepson doesn't have another parent either. Like the mom dipped out. She's gone. So he doesn't have another parent either. Whether it's by choice or death, it doesn't matter. There's no other parent there.
Hey, go hang out with this family member that doesn't love you, stated.
Yeah.
That you were not a part of their new life. Go hang out with them while we go on vacation.
If stepmom, Jesus.
It's tough.
If stepson's mom won't take him for just once, then obviously he'll come on vacation with us. But I don't think I'm the asshole to ask if I can have a vacation with my own family just one time. You 100% are the asshole. It's not like I hate stepson or something. He's a nice kid. He's just not mine. Am I the asshole?
God.
Yes.
I hate people.
Update 1. We definitely won't be going on vacation without stepson. After a couple hours of replies, I decided to show this to my husband. We sat down and had a really long talk about it. He told me he's never been comfortable with my attitude towards my stepson, but didn't know how to say it to me before.
Because he's a bitch.
Yes.
Like, he's also a bitch.
I'd be so angry, yelling at my wife.
If you brought up that, man, I'd have to have a talk about our fucking relationship and if it can continue. As soon as she says my family, she doesn't include my fucking boy in that. Like, this is our family.
Yeah.
As soon as oh God, like that is, I would really be, I would want to end it right there. Like, and I don't know if I can come back from that because that's fucked. Like,
well, people can learn. Like, people can learn. Like, she needs a
but
perspective.
They're also 5 years into this.
But she needs a perspective change. Like, he's a bitch for not bringing up this perspective change, like, instantly. Like, once you're married, once you are officially married and, like, this is the way you guys are going, it's the family. Like, it's not about...
That's y'all's son now.
Yes. I don't want to be a bad person. I just never thought of stepchildren as being yours. I don't think it would be easy for anyone to accept this level of criticism, but all your replies have shown me I have a lot of work to do. As many of you suggested, and so did my husband, I intend to see a therapist to help me with that. That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, it's good. Like, you're going to try, so... As I said, I don't hate stepson in any way. I have never been deliberately cruel to him. I've just always thought of him as my husband's child, but I realize my mindset needs to change. So I'm going to start working on that. I want my family to be the best it can be, and I need to accept that it includes my stepson. I understand that now, and I'm going to start seeing a therapist to become a better person. We've also talked about maybe having family therapy too. I've also made up with my mom, and she is 100% behind the changes I want to make in my life. It wasn't easy to hear everything you said, but I understand that I needed to hear it.
I guess, yeah, there we go. That's all we want.
But this is the exact opposite, like, you know, where everybody's like, oh, Reddit's such a dumpster fire. And it is most of the time. And she was a dumpster fire. And now she is learning that she is a dumpster fire and she can put out her flames.
I make the jokes, but a lot of Redditors do have great advice. Yeah. I mean, there are, because I was going to make the joke about the therapy and stuff like that, but that is something that she does need. And yeah, maybe people don't have that perspective going into it, and they do need that perspective change. But also husband needs to do something. Like, there's got to be shit he could work on.
Well, that's the terrible thing, is that he didn't call her on that. Is like, no, that is your son. Like, my ex left. He has no mother. You are his mother. Like, and I would really like for you to consider him as your son. Like, he is not only my son. Like, we can talk about parenting because maybe you have your own parenting style that you really want to, like, help him with whatever he's dealt with being abandoned by his mom. But like, ultimately, you are his mom and we are a family unit all together. Like, I look at your son as my son and I try to treat him as my son, but you need to do the same with mine. Yeah, that was a bitch thing for him not to
Right.
call her on that way sooner.
But at least they got a good matriarch to this family that is just like, yeah, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Are y'all stupid? Do I got to come down there and start hitting people?
Well, yeah, because I guess it's mom's influence that made her post this Reddit post.
Yep. Her mom was like, you're a bitch girl. Like, what?
I raised you better
Are
than
we
that.
having this conversation? Like, I like to think that she started off with that and it was like innocuous and mom's just sitting there shocked, like, what? Yeah. And then I love how she was like, my mom listed because she was like, yeah, let's go down the list of everything's wrong that you said to me.
All right, so in July 2023, I wrote a post on the Am I the Asshole? Oh, so this is like years.
Yep.
A year later, July 2023 was the first one, and now we are at May 2024. I wrote a post on the Am I the Asshole subreddit about taking a family vacation without my stepson. I wasn't given permission to post an update to my original post on the subreddit because the replies I got were too heated and the mods advised me to post an update to my profile instead. When I made my original post, I was told by literally thousands of people that I was the asshole, and it helped me see how wrong I was and had been for the last 5 years. I booked a therapy appointment the following week and started working through my issues. My own father died when I was less than a year old. I don't even remember him. My mother married another man when I was 7, but he left when I was 11 and I never saw him again. It hurt me in a way I've never processed before. I loved him. He had been my dad, and suddenly he was just gone. That taught me that step relatives weren't part of your family. They weren't forever.
Okay.
Solid understanding.
Okay. Okay.
A little empathy for you.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. This is what I was talking about. Like when we're writing characters for movies and stuff like that. Like when you're writing a morally great character, it's stuff you can come back from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sexual assault, you can't come back from.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, if you make the main character fall in love with you and it was just to get her jewels and shit like that, and then he makes off with the jewels, and then, you know, he starts hanging around again, and he goes through the whole arc. There's stuff you can come back from. There's stuff you cannot come back from. So
Yeah.
now that she's given us that backstory of like why she thought like that, which obviously therapists helped her, you know, get through that, then now we're just like, okay, now she's having her fucking
Redemption arc.
yeah, her redemption arc.
I always thought I was doing better than my ex-stepdad because I provided for my stepson and I stayed in his life. I was better than my ex-stepdad. But I made my stepson feel the way my ex-stepdad made me feel when he left me, and I regret it so much. A little while after I started therapy, we started family therapy too. The therapist helped me explain to my stepson the way I felt about step relatives and why I'd always behaved the way I did. He cried and said he was afraid that I just didn't like him. Poor kid.
God damn it.
And we had the first
I was
proper
starting to hate you again.
and we had the first proper talk we'd ever had. I told him that wasn't true, and I had just been a bad step parent like my ex-stepdad had been to me. My relationship with my stepson is so much better now. We spend time together, just the two of us, and except for this post, I never call him.
I never call him or think of him
as my stepson. I don't think we needed the comma there to like separate it.
You needed another comma.
No, it could have just been I never
A
call
hyphen.
him or think
Yeah.
like it, there's no need for that comma. I never call him or think of him as my stepson.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no comment there. Yeah.
He is my son. I accept now that he'll always be my son. That unlike my ex-stepdad, he's forever. Even if something happens between me and his dad, he will still be my son. Most of all, he always called me by my first name, but last Thanksgiving, he asked if he can start calling me mom.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
It made me so happy. I told him that I loved him, and he said he loved me too. Since then, he always just calls me mom. That is a fucking
Fuck
scam.
yeah, Reddit.
A lot of people also talked about the ways my husband needed to improve. Yes.
Yes.
To be more assertive and protective of his children. He knows that. It's very easy to see the problems when they're presented to you all at once in a Reddit post, but when things happen day to day, it's a lot harder to realize how issues are building up. But he's working hard, like we both are, to try and make our family the happiest it can be. We both know we still have to keep working at this. I'm still in therapy and we're still having family therapy, but I'm grateful to work at it. I'm grateful to have all of my children. It's very hard for me to write this, to think about the way things were before I started therapy. It makes me cry every time I think about it. But I want to thank you, Reddit. I wrote my original post just looking for validation for my own point of view, and I never thought the internet could change my life this way, but it has. I feel like for the first time, we're truly a family. Thank you all.
And I just want to explain to people too about this is why you have to have that kind of mindset of if I do X, how will it affect my child? Okay. And her stepdad, unbeknownst to him, treating her like a daughter and everything like that. And at the first, opportunity was like, bye, I'm out of your life. You weren't really my daughter. That then affected her relationship with her son, So it's always just be mindful about what could happen. What could this do in the future? What mindset could this give your child in the future? And you can avoid a lot of things like that.
So, controversial comment. As a stepmom, not the asshole, I get wasting time with just your hubby, or I get wanting time with just your hubby and your own kids. Shit's hard. Maybe a grandparent or family member can host him. If mom is missing in action, maybe less scary for him to hang out with someone more familiar to him. No, you're a fucking douche.
Right, yeah, that was the controversial. Crystal got us the controversial from the first one.
Yeah. No, I think it's from her update post, or it might be from the first post. But yeah, it's just wild that somebody would be like, you're not the asshole. Yes, you are the asshole. Like,
right.
Your family is your family. You don't disclude one of the kids. Like, imagine being that kid that is at your grandparents and the rest of the family is going on some fucking vacation. That is wrong. That is wrong.
Right.
All right, so somebody else, these are top and best. Not the asshole. I see you want a vacation with just your family. I totally get it, meaning you don't see him as part of your family. How beautiful for you to think that and not expect to be called out as an evil, no-hearted step-parent. And such a loving husband to think the same thing about his son. Such logic. So genius. For someone with no common sense or humanity. I'd say go pound sand, but that's too good for you being the asshole and think you'll get the support.
The not the asshole was sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, these are all, they're being sarcastic. Read the second one. I love it.
So second comment for top best. Not the asshole. You're providing your stepson with enough abandonment issues and psychological traumas to rewrite a thrilling rendition of modern day gender-swapped Cinderella when he's older. You're helping his creative career and creating employment opportunities for mental health professionals.
Love that. That was too just super sarcastic.
Wow, you're not the asshole. Also, just evil.
No, so that one's you're the asshole.
Oh, yeah.
This one's not sarcastic.
Wow, you're the asshole. Also, just evil. So you and your husband each marry, both bringing to the marriage a child from a previous marriage/relationship. Let's twist your story. Your husband gets a huge bonus. One that can take his family on a dream vacation. He tells you that he wants only his wife and his children. That you need to find a place where your son from your first marriage can stay while you are gone. I don't care if you are widowed. He is not his son by your standards. Let's take the knife and twist it. Your son hears how he cannot go because he is not, quote, family. How do you think a child would receive this message? He is pretty much abandoned by his mother, and his evil stepmother is also telling him that you are rejecting him as well. Because of your actions, let's go to the future. Your stepson is getting married. He tells his dad that he can come, but you, the evil stepmother, are not invited and not allowed to attend. You are also banned from his children's lives. Why, you will ask. Remember this day. It all started and began with you. I'm betting he has his own stories he can share about you and your hatred for him. And shame on your husband for allowing this, let alone staying with a woman who will never accept his child. And how do I know this? I'm an adult now, but grew up with a stepmom just like you. Stepfathers as well. I don't call them my parents, just assholes. Edit. Thank you for the award. Oh, no,
yeah, you can't read that.
All
so
right.
these are comments to now all the updated stuff.
These are on
the last comment I absolutely do not agree with.
All right. So you're still planning on driving him off somewhere, leaving him by the side of the road.
You're not still planning.
Damn. So you're not still planning on driving him off somewhere, leaving him by the side of the road, and telling your husband that he got out somehow when you left the door open, because that sure seemed like something you would have done back when you wrote the original post. Good to see progress.
Here's the thing too. Okay. I can separate when someone's being a fuck up versus making the changes that they need to make. That does not mean once you make the changes, you are out of the clear. You got a fuck ton of shit to make up. You know what I'm saying? And if that kid would have never forgave you, would have never called you mom and shit like that, it's perfectly accepted. That's 5 years of being treated as less than. But everybody in this situation is saying, hey, You know, we want to be a family. I have the bad mindset. We get the stuff from our childhood and everything like that. You can come back from that. That doesn't mean that we have to sit here and clap and be like, good job, you did good. You were doing the shit that you, Cat Williams, you doing the shit you're supposed to do. Like, that's it. That was Chris Rock. Never mind. Yeah, so it was Chris Rock that said that. But at the same time, you can say, hey, kudos for making those changes. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. If you don't want to applaud the person, that's fine. But the next comment just, I don't know.
Nothing about this warms my heart. People shouldn't have to be told to treat their kids like family. There's no fucking way this dude should have stayed with his wife after that bullshit. I don't believe for a second that OP's morals are so changed overnight. See, my thing is like, I do think you get credit for changing. And like, yes, the kid doesn't have to forgive you or anything like that. And it all plays out however it plays out. However, it like, you can't be blamed continuously in the future for being a fuck up. Like, you at some point you do have redemption, and right. Like, so if she is still being shitty in areas, she still has work to do and all that stuff. But it was a perspective change of that she didn't see him as her son, and she needed to be like, just to remove the blinders and show that like, okay, you have issues from your childhood and now you're passing those on yet again. And like, the therapy actually helped her view that, and it helped them repair their relationship. And as long as she's not still harboring any of those feelings where she's making the other kid feel less than and not part of the family, as long as she's fixed all that stuff, she does get the redemption. Right. Like, the kid never has to forgive her. That's up to him. That's his choice, and he can decide how he wants to do it. But overall, as anybody looking from the outside, you can't keep faulting this lady for having a fucked up view in the beginning. Like, she put it out there, acted like she was, you know, in the right. Everybody told her she's in the wrong, and everybody now she's changed
her shit rightfully.
Yeah,
and now she has made that change.
So she does get the redemption,
right? People shouldn't have to be told to treat how to treat their kids or to treat their kids like family. Parenting is not just, it's not easy.
It's a lesson the whole way along.
And then with step parents too, I've made the jokes. People's made the jokes. There are view sets of that's your stepchild, not your child, and stuff like that. And then she has that direct example, which I remember when, you know, because the guy who signed my birth certificate, he wasn't really my dad, which is funny because I just think like, if a guy signs your birth certificate, that's like,
that's your dad.
That's my kid. But he was like, nah, never mind. I changed my mind. But he signed my birth certificate. He left. I was like, 4 or 5 years old. And stepdad comes in. So stepdad has been there for, I want to say like 2 years. This is before he started doing the drugs and stuff like that. And one day I had called him dad. I was a little kid, whatever. I think it's corny now that I did it. But then, I was like, oh, dad, because
he's here.
He was like, don't ever call me that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, straight up. Don't ever call me that.
Oof.
So it was like, I think I was around 18 or 19. And we were riding in the car together, and he was like, I wish I would have never stopped you from calling me dad. I'm like, too late now, bud. I'm not doing it now. Not doing it now. You let me know who you were, in the relationship. And I mean, I was a fuck up too. I was a fuck up till fucking damn near 23 years old. But you could tell that even in my fucked up state, I was going to do better than everybody, like in my family. So it was like, he's like the good one and shit like that now. And I was just like, it's too late, bud.
Well, see, that's the thing though, is if you started calling him dad, and like, I don't know what the drugs were doing at that time, but like, had you started calling him dad and he actually took that as like, that's my job and I got to make sure this kid ends up. And like, that's the biggest thing that I think most parents that are fuck up parents, they don't realize that you're raising an adult that is going to be a member of society, and you have to try your best to let them come out of, like, you're always going to have trauma and things that your parents didn't do right, and then blah, blah, blah. That happens with the best parents even. Like, you have issues as a kid because your brain's developing and all this stuff, but you're trying to make it as minimal as
Right.
possible. And so if you take that title as dad and you're like, you know, you see young you getting into fights and shit, rather than being like, yeah, you should be like, hey man, like maybe we don't go to anger as the first thing, and maybe we don't just like beat the shit out of people.
I mean, he wasn't receptive to the fights. That was the guy who signed my birth certificate.
Yeah.
I told him I was getting bullied real bad in school, and you know, he only came around once or twice a year. So when you know, get my brothers and shit like that. So when I told him that, and he was like, "Got to defend yourself," I took that to heart. Like that was a lesson from my dad, is that I had to do that. And
well, and you do have to defend yourself, and like it makes sense, but you also don't like, you know, poke a hornet's nest and start fights and get into shit and talk shit.
I had no guidance on.
And that's my point.
When
is
people
like,
take it too far,
is like if somebody actually showed up as dad for you and like actually took that mantle, that's the important thing, is like raising somebody to be a decent human. But like you had a bunch of people that were like, yeah, we make sure you're fed and have a roof over your head, but that's about as far as we're going to take this.
Like, and even in that
parenting.
situation where he's like, don't call me that. If, you know, 3 years down the road, he was like, look, I view you as my son and all that stuff. And then we started going fishing and shit together, and he wasn't on drugs and shit like that. Then I understand, as a kid who lived through probably the shittiest parenting that you could go through.
Yeah.
I know unequivocally even then too, because I'm not going to be corny about it. Like that was shit that I longed for as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I got to see all these kids who had good dads, and like even dads that weren't good, but were trying.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a kid would be like, yeah, man, you know, my dad's just a hard ass. I'm like, dog, I wish I had that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had a dad that was fucking disappointed because we were smoking fucking grass and notebook paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that was a dumb thing for us to do. And
Ours was corn silk and like a corn cob pipe,
but I don't know. It's one of those things. So I can definitely commend her for making those changes and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I mean, she's not the hero, but she has now redeemed herself from villain to, you know, she is redeemed in my eyes.
y'all can tell I get my feels when I start saying, you know what I'm saying, a lot.
No, I'm saying. No, I'm saying.
Because people would be like, that's the, you know, the charm of, you know, Mike and Dale had drama when we used to go deep into lore and stuff like that. They would be like, he does it so easy. And I mean, I could talk about it, joke about it and stuff like that. Some of the stuff is not easy, but still talk about it because I think that helps other people too, is hearing situations of, you're not alone. And I do like to make jokes about it because I grew up my whole life. That's the only extent. I could just sat on there and been sad my whole life and just be a guy, you know, work somewhere, eating a ham and cheese sandwich every day, all sad and shit until I eventually fucking took my own life. Or I could, you know, be like, that's life.
Well, and I don't think like that's my plea to everybody, is like nobody makes it out of childhood without like having something. It's going to be like, my parents were fantastic and they're still happily married and like they're a great example for me to try, but like I then need to look how I can do it better. And like the things that I wanted or needed as a kid that I maybe felt weren't provided for me, I have to then do that. And like that's nothing against my parents. My parents were given their childhood and the trauma and whatever else, like love issues and all those things that they had from their parents, and they tried to do better. And so, you know, like the leaps and bounds that you made in your life from literally having nobody as a good influence to you being that good influence for your kids, like that's the whole thing. And the part that I love about that last story is that she put it out there, everybody called her on it. And rather than her like double down and be like, no, I'm not the asshole, she legitimately like went and was like, okay, I can see where this is fucked up. Let me go see a therapist.
Right.
And then he dug up why she feels this abandonment issue and why she's pushing this onto her kid. And now they've, you know, fixed their relationship. So,
and that's why we got to bring back bullying, guys, because bullying can help. You know what I'm saying? Don't bully a kid because they're like fat or something like that. But like if someone is being weird, you know what I'm saying? Bully them a little bit, they adjust, be a little bit normal. All right, so before we get into this last story, I do want to remind everybody that we do have the Labor Llama giveaway from now until the end. Well, I guess till the end of June now, because it's not May
the end of
anymore.
June.
So until the end of June, all you have to do is, and this is a Spotify only giveaway, follow the podcast, rate it, and just comment down. The keyword is Mike's Love Handles. You could throw that creatively into a comment. It doesn't give you brownie points, but it's fun to read the creative ones.
Yeah, on the podcast, there's stars, and you can just hit the star and then give it a rating. That's where you give the rate.
Also, if you would like to support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Mike and Dylan. You get bonus episodes, and it does help us out tremendously to give you the episodes that you like for some reason.
And we are doing one live a month.
Yeah, we are.
For the Patreon subscribers.
Yep. So our last story says, me and a friend left another friend for dead in high school. Oh, shit.
That's rough.
All right. Well, this one is going to be a tough one. And this is from our confessions, dude. Our confessions, I wanted to cover that one, but then I started going through and I was like, these are all rough. These are all so rough. And I could tell this is going to be another rough one. My friends and I were somewhat misguided in high school, and a lot of us started doing drugs fairly young. Some of my friends bought some cocaine at a party when I was 16, and I decided to try it with them. This was around Christmas break. We spent a lot of the rest of the school year trying to find a boot to buy us booze so we could drink and get high. In retrospect, it's kind of funny in a sad way. It was easier to buy coke as a minor in that area than it was booze.
It's because booze is regulated.
Yeah, right. Fast forward to the summertime, me and two of my best friends, I will call J and S, at the time are out at a family farm and are doing what we've been doing every weekend since Christmas. Justin had financed this together and paid for our supplies. We had 2 48 packs of Twisted Tea. I still fucking gag thinking about that. And if I'm being honest, I cannot remember how much cocaine we had, but if I had to guess, maybe a gram for each of us. The night started off fairly normal with us partying and whatnot until Justin has what we assume a seizure out of nowhere. Neither me or Sean had known Justin to be epileptic, so it was quite literally a shock initially. Now, me and Sean were quite panicked at first. Neither of us were in a state to drive at that point, and we knew we were about a 30-minute drive to the hospital. Cell reception at this location was spotty, but calling 911 was out of the question anyways. We did not want our parents to find out what we had been doing. Now, the specifics of this night are somewhat hard to remember. I'm not exactly sure if we had verbally agreed to wait until he regained consciousness or if we just stalled out not knowing what to do. I do not know. I am not certain what happened to Justin, if that was a seizure for sure. He remained unconscious for the rest of the night. Me and Sean took the cocaine out of his pocket and did the rest of it and drank a majority of the booze he had also brought.
What fucking shit stains?
Yeah, what shit stains? Like, I used to do drugs.
Yes.
And fucking a lot of drugs. And I was a fuck up, okay? If one of my friends started to overdose, we're trying to figure that out now.
And call a 911
Yeah,
if that's
911.
the only option that is available. You call 911. That is a life that you are about to take if you do not act properly.
There's been multiple instances of that happening. And I mean, there are some people and they're shit stains like this guy and his friend that are like, oh, dude, we need to go. And I'm like, dude, we're going to be here. Like, they're not going to give a fuck if we're high, if we're drunk. They're going to care about saving him. And then also too, I was just okay with underage drinking charge and a fucking, then having somebody die.
Yeah.
It's just being kids and not knowing what to do.
Well, and your parents, like, I'm sorry, but you're in less trouble if your friend doesn't die. You are in less trouble.
Right.
Like, you are in less trouble if you allow your friend to die. You are in more trouble now. Like, you are in substantial legal trouble for not helping, like, make sure that this kid's okay. Like, I don't care how fucked up you are. Like, that's the moment that you get sober and you're like, oh fuck, let's fix this.
Yeah, I told that story about us doing bath salts, and our friend Matt had done some, and he's like, my heart's beating so bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, it's bath salts going to do that. You know what I'm saying? You just took an upper. Your heart's going to beat pretty good. You just got to ride into it. But he was scared, so we took him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're joking around with him, but we still took him.
Yeah. Like,
that's the fucking thing to do. Like, you don't hear somebody and be like, oh, dude, like, I'm going to call you lame, but if you want to go, we can go. Like, absolutely. I'm not going to fucking. And then, of course, once the nurse was like, yeah, you're perfectly fine. You'll come down off of it. Who's a dork? Well, don't get mad anyway. I have to go take a trip to the ER.
No, but she did say it was pretty serious.
Yeah. She said it was serious. Yeah, my heart was beat. It's like, dog, you was in there for a fucking hour and a half. Like. Now, I can't remember if me and Sean ended up sleeping that night or if the sun came up and decided he was able to drive now that there was light shining. But that morning, we got in the car and drove to town. Justin was still unconscious when we left that morning, and I do remember me and Sean going over what we were going to do in the case of worst case scenario. But I guess to cut a long story a bit shorter, Justin did wake up late into that day and was more or less fine. Justin had driven himself out of the property, and I had rode with Sean, so he was able to get back to town on his own. I feel fucking disgusting about the way me and Sean handled it that night. I'm 26 now and still think about how slimy that was. I hope Justin wasn't friends with John anymore. I just showed this to my, one of the comments says, I just showed him to my son and told him to assume everyone is like you were until proven otherwise. Wait, I just showed this to my son and told him to assume everyone is like you.
Yeah, so most friends are going to be shitbags unless they prove otherwise. Like,
right.
So if you get fucked up and like
everyone was
you
like
crash
you.
out,
like yep, until proven otherwise. Yep, it is definitely the people that you were around. I do want to see what did Justin say about it afterwards. He did survive, and we stayed friends for a few years after. I did apologize to him a few months after, and he seemed indifferent about the event. Well, to his perspective, he probably was like, yeah, I got fucked up and passed out. Yeah, I didn't care. But if he's sitting there fucking, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of like scary situations that we were in, and that's why I always told people I like being an upper person, because if shit hits the fan, I do know what to do. Like, you know, everybody's drunk or they're on benzos or something like that, but old Mikey, I am more in the game than anybody else. I'm locked the fuck in. So, but I ain't leaving. And that's what you could point to as people as a person, though. That's that, you know, loyalty and shit that I have to people. It's just that I am not, where you ain't dying here, you know?
I can't remember if I've told this story, but I probably did on a different episode. But there was this one night where people, we had like all the towns come together because they're all small towns. And so everybody would come to the same parties. And, you know, certain towns wouldn't like other people from other towns. And one group decided that they were going to slapbox with the other group that they did not get along with. And so they're slapboxing, and it's like this really fucking tall guy and then this shorter guy, like maybe like 5'10" and like 6'6". And so they're slapboxing. And they're slapboxing, and the little guy decides to close fist and it happens every time. Like, I've never seen slapboxing not turn into an actual fight.
Correct.
It always does.
Correct.
So little guy ends up closing his fist, punches big guy, and big guy's like, oh, so we're punching now. And so he goes, pat, pat, like just punches him twice on his way to the ground. And dude falls to the ground, knocked out cold, like snoring. Well, we all look, and dude's jaw is separated from right here and like up in his cheek. Like, he's missing jaw, like right here. It just like completely broke. And then everybody's like, oh shit, what do we do? And I was like, we call a fucking ambulance, or somebody drives him to the hospital right now. And then everybody from the big guy's team were like, no, he's on probation, he can't. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and everybody that was mindful of it was like, that's too bad. Like, you did this to him, like, accident or not, you broke the guy's jaw. And he ended up, so we're all having this debate and everything. And he wakes up from being knocked out and then just takes off into the fucking woods. And then so everybody's like hunting him down, trying to find him. And eventually they got him to the hospital, and it was like hours of reconstructive surgery to get it back down and wire it all shut and everything. But it's like, okay, you're on probation. Maybe you don't do fucking slapboxing where it's going to turn into a fight, and then you get charged for fucking.
Right. At the end of the day, we don't got to give names out, like Jesus Christ, but we're not going to let somebody die here. So
yeah, but that whole team was like, no, we can't call an ambulance. We can't do this. We can't do that. We can't take. And it's like, no, he has to go to the hospital. Like, this ain't going to heal itself. Like, it's a broken fucking jaw, like separated, like smashed up into his face. But it's like, why'd you have to hit him that hard too? Like, I get slapboxing turned fight. Like, you really laid into him to break his fucking jaw that bad.
Right. I don't know. A bunch of people will say, hey, he did ask for it by punching him. But also, too, if I'm a big fucking dude, I'm not fighting no little guy. If he hit me and it fucking, you know, if he pecked my cheek, you know what I'm saying, with a little punch, I'm not going to be. It was never that serious, too, man. Like, it's never that fucking serious. People have to realize, and this is something I really got lucky with as a kid, too, especially growing up, you see a lot of it. You can kill somebody with a punch. And that is just something that did not register with me until I was older. I think that's the biggest thing. So
yeah, and that's still manslaughter, and you have to like prove that you didn't like have any slight indications of you wanting to like kill somebody. Right. Like, you still have to go on trial. Like, it is.
And if you get charged with manslaughter, you're probably going to prison. So.
Yeah.
Just for a year and a half. Not that bad. Not that bad. My brother went to prison for 8 months, and he tried to come out acting all hard and stuff like that. I'm like, this is not how life works. You had a little vacation in prison. You were not a lifer in there.
Got to take those dick softener pills.
I love it how I was the one who was always in trouble with the law. And then, you know, I went down for his shit twice. And he is like, the first big thing I'm going to decide to do is armed robbery. I remember I got called that night. He had a bond hearing in the morning. And I was like, hey, you know, I told the judge, I was like, he ain't like this. He doesn't have a record or anything like that. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but he's not like that. He's got a job and shit like that. And the judge was just like, yeah, I see it. Okay, I'm gonna let him out. And I guess he thought it was good. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and we're gonna see what happened. And then he got 8 months, which is crazy because he got to come home and then I guess went to prison like a couple days later. I was like, how's that work? Because if I get told I'm going 8 months, I'm just like, fuck, I know. I'm going to tack on a little bit extra because I do not want to go to prison right now. I don't think like now is the time I want to go to prison. Whatever. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hearing our dumb little stories, and we will see you next time.
Later.